What's up, guys? It's Frankie here. We're down at the beach, and I want to give you guys a huge shortcut to getting a whole bunch of financial freedom in your agency, which is called retention. Because when you get the retention right, you start every month with a certain amount of income and a certain amount of clients and a certain amount of residual momentum that you don't have to build up, and your agency starts to get easy, and you can even turn clients away and be way more selective. And all of that comes out of being really good at retention. So let's get into it. All right, so I got a cheesy analogy for you. Let's imagine your goal is to get laid and have the most amount of sex that you can possibly have. And let's just say the only thing you're interested in is quantity. So it doesn't really matter whether it's great sex or whatever. You're just going for a lot of sex. Who do you think's gonna have more sex? Somebody who has only one night stands and has to find a new partner every day, or somebody who's in a long-term relationship with a partner who can kind of get it pretty regularly from that partner, and that they both, connect that way? The answer is pretty obvious, right? Like, obviously the person in the relationship, if you're just going quantity, is going to get a whole bunch more. Now I want you to think about that as money and as freedom, as our good old boy Mel would say. So, kind of a crude analogy, I know, but I see this all the time in agency groups where the sexiest thing to a new agency owner is, I just got laid. In other words, I just signed a new client for $5,000, for $1,500 a month, for 10 grand, and it doesn't really matter the amount. That's the sexiest thing. Now, most agencies won't tell you this, but they're keeping clients an average of 3 months, and that means every 3 months, you know what they got to do? Start over. Starting over sucks, by the way, if you've ever had to do it. Starting over every single 3 months. And the average mastermind member for us, by the way, is keeping people an average of 2 years. And I want you to think about this fact, okay? If you keep clients 2 years, that's 24 months. If somebody keeps somebody 3 months, they actually need 8 people to make the same cash. That means if they get 7 clients, they're actually making less money. And that's 7 times the amount of prospecting, 7 times the amount of phone calls, 7 times the amount of chasing. So when you understand this, like, you get just as many payment notifications from keeping 1 client 2 years as you do for keeping 8 clients for 3 months. You got to get good at this. It's just important. You got to know your role and shut your mouth.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Otherwise, clients be going, "Who is this Rudy Poo candy ass?" So let's talk about what actually makes retention. Why do people stay? I'll tell you, it's come down to 3 things, probably more than anything else. And I'm not saying these are the only 3 things, but the 3 biggest leverage points. Number 1, are you getting them any sort of meaningful results? Without that, you won't keep anybody ever. Now, most of you guys actually are getting meaningful results, and clients are screwing it up. Either they don't know how to close the leads or things like that, and so they think the problem is ultimately with you, which we know sucks when that happens, but it does happen. But for the most part, most of you guys are actually getting clients meaningful results. If you get hired to do SEO, they improve. If you get hired to do Facebook ads, they get leads. If you get hired for ad work, people are clicking the links and calling the business. So for the most part, I know most of you guys are getting meaningful results. And it's actually, by the way, in step 2 where most people drop the ball, and that is in setting expectations. A good friend of mine, his name's Peter. He won a 2 Comma Club award, ClickFunnels, which means he sold $1 million worth of shit through ClickFunnels. Funny little thing is that he wasn't even old enough to pick up the award. They sent him to the event. Turns out you got to be 21 years old, legal drinking age. Couldn't get in, couldn't get his own award. Irony, the universe is not without irony, let's just say that. So one of the things he was telling me is he had 120 different clients for Facebook ads, and they spent, oh, there goes a nice butterfly. They spent the best money they could do to get the best media buyers that they could possibly get to get the best results. And what they found is Some of their clients, they like cut their cost in half, they doubled the results, and guess what happened? Nobody got happier. Clients had the same complaints. And I had a lawyer explain this to me really, really simply. He said, if I tell a client, I think I can get him 15 grand and we get him 10, he thinks I'm an idiot. Thinks I'm the worst lawyer in the world. If I tell him I think we can get 10 and we get 15, then he thinks I'm a hero. So you always want to set the expectations lower than you can actually achieve. If you think you can get $5 webinar registrations, tell them 10. If you think it's going to take you 3 months to rank, tell them 6. And always set it up so that you can exceed your own arbitrarily set expectations. Cute little bird running around in the water there. You do this, by the way, and you'll find that you start to win. And I'll tell you the third reason. I should actually make this 4 because there's really 4 now that I think about it. Third reason not enough people keep their clients longer is they don't play offense on communication. I used this story before, but it's an important one. Is neighbor of mine got a house built, and I asked him how it was, and he said it was the worst experience of his life. Now, here in Mexico, he had to send a bunch of money to a stranger, which he told me was his life savings. He said nobody got back to him for weeks. After he got back in weeks, they sent him an update. It was all in Spanish. He couldn't translate it easily. He said after a year, he came down to look at his house, and it was built perfectly. Now, I want you to think if you're the house builder, thinking that all you got to do is SEO, or all you got to do is build a great house that takes a year and everyone will be happy. You are wrong. None of the communication happened, and so he was worried and stressed out the whole time. Why? Because he's probably been screwed in the past from other SEO agencies. So that's very different than if you think about it metaphorically. If he had played offense on communication, said, hey, just want to welcome you guys. We're so excited you chose to build your home with us. This has been a great decision. We want to honor that and welcome you. And then imagine after a few days, he gets an update and says, hey, here's a little video of your plot of land. And then, hey, here's a little video, we just built the foundation. Here's a little video, we're putting up the walls. Hey, here's a little video, we're putting up the electrical. And you get the idea. And they played offense and kept him informed on all those little things. So chances are you're doing all these little things. You're setting up pixels. You're building backlinks. You're putting together landing pages and offers and running ads. But what you're probably not doing is telling the clients, hey, I just built the foundation. Hey, I just put up the electrical, right? You're not letting clients know that. And all that happens, by the way, is if you don't tell clients, they worry. And then the fourth real key to retention is add-ons. The little extras you do to make clients feel wanted and appreciated. By the way, the number one reason clients leave you is not even because of results. It's because they feel like their business is unwanted and unappreciated. And a lot of people have a deliverable process that makes them feel that way. But all you got to do and just say, hey, I'm really happy. Like little thank you notes go a long way. Little presents, little gifts, little, hey, you're an awesome person. Hey, I noticed this quirky thing about your personality. Things like that. Or just a random message, hey, I was just thinking about you and just wanted to say, you're a cool client. I appreciate having you. Those little things go a long way towards keeping clients, and we don't think enough about those. That those are just as much your delivery as the delivery itself. But you systematize all those 4 things. You get good at getting results. You get good at setting expectations. You get good at communicating. You get good at the extras, and you systematize and organize that. Retention will be the inevitable byproduct. And when you get the retention right, correct, what ends up happening, you look as happy as a hobbit, by the way. Like this kind of scene right here.
Old Toby, the finest weed in the South Valley.
It's the finest weed in all the Shire. So you get good at those things, and what'll happen is money will become a lot more predictable, and prospecting and sales get a lot easier when you don't need clients, when you're way less desperate, because you know, well, I've already got 20 clients to start this month, so I don't need 21. It's got to be a good fit. I got to know I can help you. I got to know we're probably going to want to stay together long term and things like that. So you do that, and what'll end up happening is you'll notice it in the recurring bank account is you'll feel so much more at ease about the future, knowing, hey, before I even get off my ass, there's a bunch of money. And I see a big ass crab that just went into a hole. I wonder if we can find him here. You know, there's a crab that went into that hole. So I know this is a little bit of a longer video, listening to me rant for like 10 minutes here, but I hope that's helpful to you guys, because I want you guys to be able to have like that repeatable, recurring income, and to less front-end hustle of chasing and closing, right? You want, you know, from a metaphorical standpoint, you want to have the girl who you get laid with whenever you want, not just always have one-night stands with clients. And if you get good at this, you get to have a lot of relationships with a lot of ongoing kind of meaningful sex relationships in that analogy. And things get a whole lot easier for you. So hope that's helpful to you guys. That's all I got for you in this video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and may the force be with you.